Okay, guys, we are live. Welcome to my second or third Facebook Live, actually. So the first one was the one that I did with Emma. And then the second one was when I was very kindly invited to Prime Time with Silver Thumb. So if you've not watched that video, just go and watch, search on YouTube for Prime Time with Sylvia Thumb, and you'll see my second live video where I talk about being one idea away. So I thought I would sort of like build on that concept of being one idea away, where I strongly believe that you are actually one idea away from changing your life, changing your business, providing for your family, making a better life for yourself. You're really just one idea away. You got to keep thinking of new ideas, and at the same time, obviously, test a few things out and try out a few different ideas to sort of see what works. And I'm sharing this on my personal profile and also in the Get Out Academy page. At the same time, we're also pushing the idea of remote work or working from home. Obviously, we all know what's going on right now in the world, but I believe that if remote work is sort of very rampant now globally around the world, that means there are a lot more job opportunities outside of Singapore. So I think we should explore working online more, explore looking for opportunities for jobs, for projects online a lot more, and again, start to think of more ideas. So today was very, very impromptu. I just sort of came across Shiling article going online in a couple of months' time, and I called my friend Kent, and I basically said, look, would you like to come online on Facebook Live with me to share some thoughts about being one idea away? Because as you know, Kent is also the CEO and founder of Invade, and is actually the true architect and the brains behind Artbox and Shiling. So Artbox, if you don't know, is a huge festival, and every single year that it's run, it's got 40, 50, 60,000 people attending. There are so many vendors at Artbox, and there are so many good performers there as well. So I thought, how is a business like Artbox or Invade or Shiling going to actually survive this whole crisis? And I thought, how better to know the answer to this than to bring Kent online. So I'm just going to bring Kent on right now and unmute. Hello.
Hello, hi Felix. Thanks for the invitation.
Hey, bro. Thanks for coming online. Sorry that we cannot have real beer now.
It's okay.
Yeah. Another time, man. How's it going with you? How's everything overall?
Yeah, I think it's pretty. Working from home is much tougher than work from office. I would choose working from office anytime, right? I think working from home is like a new norm, right? I think it's like there's a lot of new technology you have to adopt, new way of life or new working style that we have to keep track of and stuff like that. So I think it's definitely something that I'm still learning along the way. Right, after all, this is like what, day 15 or day 16 of the whole circuit breaker period, which just got extended.
Yeah, but when you say about working in the office, right? I mean, from our past conversations with together, I think you mentioned. I mean, how many offices do you have? Where's your office? How big is it actually?
I think currently we are operating from 2 offices. So one is in Singapore, the Joo Chiat area. So it's we are currently managing our own co-making space called MOX, right? So it's a co-making space for the creative community, right? So we are housed over there. Then we also set up another MOX in Malaysia, KL. So it's at Sunway Putra Mall. So it's about 21,000 square feet over there. So we have our Invade office operating off from MOX in KL as well. So I think currently we have these 2 locations. We have about a team of 30 of us currently based in Singapore, while another a startup kind of model in Malaysia. So there's about 5 to 6 of them over there. Yeah. So currently this is our operations.
So Artbox or Invade does not just run Artbox. I mean, can you share more with the viewers, about yourself and then about Invade as a company? It sounds like it's not that small a company. So
no. I think for Invade, it has been ongoing for the past 10 years. We've been operating. right? So we specialize in conceptualization of spaces. So we create potential spaces into very, very conceptualized ideas behind it, be it is a temporary space like event space or ad hoc spaces or even a car park space, right? Then up to a retail space or even a conventional warehouse or even like atrium spaces. How then can we come up with interesting concepts to occupy all these spaces? So we are crazy about physical spaces, and it's depending on what kind of concepts to occupy it. So it ranges from we started off from organizing flea markets, right? The easiest, right? The thrift market, flea markets. We thought it's the easiest lah, but it's just as challenging lah. Then after
It's
that,
not easy.
we moved. Correct. So then we move forward to then organizing our own pop-up stores, push cards and so on and so forth. Then after that, we slowly build up our database to see that maybe we can organize a large-scale festival of sort. I think that's how eventually we build up to Artbox or even Shilling.
Okay, so how you mentioned about database? How big is your database? I mean, like at a range. Can you share with the viewers like how? Because 10 years in a business, being doing so many things, talking to you're effectively in a B2B and a B2C business, right? You are managing business to business relationships, right, by way of your vendors and your partners, and the venues and the corporates and all that. Then at the same time, you are obviously also targeting the man on the street or anybody who's online who sees your stuff, right? So, like, how is it? How difficult is it to sort of run an organization like this? How big of a list do you actually need to have to sort of make it less risky whenever you run the next venture, run the next event?
So I think we are hyper focused in what we are trying to achieve, right? So all along we are trying to provide solutions for our thrift sellers. Even last time there's blog shop owners, trying to sell some clothes. We are hyper focused in trying to provide spaces for them, right? So along the way, that's how we slowly build up our database. So I think in the end, we find ourselves that ever since we continue to build what we are trying to build, right, we become a facilitator, a bridge between spaces and people who want spaces. So eventually, we find ourselves growing our database to currently it's about 40,000 in terms of like maybe one-off vendors, retailers, F&B operators, so on and so forth, right? But active kind of base that we have in the regionally, right? Together with the Singapore context, we have about 10,000 active retailers and F&B operators right now. So I think thankful for the kind of like customers or the vendors relationship that we built up over the years. I think a lot of them are very, very supportive of us, of what we're trying to do. So it gives us more courage to organize bigger events or bolder to explore crazier stuff in Singapore or even in Malaysia. Yeah.
Okay. So earlier at the start of this chat, you mentioned about the work from home situation. You want to share with us your work desk situation, or is it quite jialat?
I mean, we tried to do a makeshift one, right? Because I thought everyone thought that circuit breaker is just for the 4 weeks, right? So but then I think that straight away my first instinct to try to bring back some of the equipment or monitors from my office, right, over back to home. Then I think the only decent table that I can find is my dining table. So now it's a multi-purpose table that we have. So I will have I maybe just do a quick show. It's like I have monitors here. Then I have like the iMac over the other side. So I think I need to observe many things at Singapore on time, right? So I think from Zoom meeting on my iMac or like for example there's like certain news or certain articles that I need to read from my monitor. Then as for my MacBook, then I'll use it to clear my emails. So I think that's the situation that I have over here from so-called our work from home kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I hear kids in the background. So how many kids you have? I forgot. Right?
I have two. So one is like 5 years old, one is 2 years old. The elder one is the son, and the younger one is daughter. Yeah.
So as a parent also to 3 children now for me.
Oh.
How's it like working from home with kids, man?
I think well, there's a lot of articles, right? So the crazy situation that is at home is beyond one imagination. I'm sure you also know. So imagine if I'm not talking, yes, I can try to mute it lah. But as long as I'm trying to talk, right? If the 大的跟小的要吵架 and stuff like that, wow, I tell you, the scream is insane, man. Even I can see some of our clients, like, because it's casual one, right, on Zoom, they were like laughing. I say, wow, they can totally understand everything. Yeah. So I think we'll try to juggle. I think it's very, very hard. I mean, thankfully, like, for example, my wife is working with me, so we will like try to arrange our schedule, right? So I'll tell her like, hey, I'm having an important call right now. Then so maybe you don't set something during this period. Then likewise for her as well. So if she set a very, very important call, then I'll try to keep it free. Then I'll know that, hey, it's my duty to then try to keep the kids away from the living room, right, and try to keep it in the bedrooms and stuff like that. Stuff them with a lot of toys and snacks and everything. So I think that's how we juggle. How we juggle. I think so far, yeah.
Okay. So today I was also reading some articles on Straits Times, and then PM kept talking about IT being very important in sort of helping the economy get back to track, or get back to normal, or get back to the new normal. And this thing about digital transformation actually is not new to Singapore. Our government has been talking about this for a long, long time now, but especially now, everyone is talking about it, and people are trying to sort of do something about it. What about you?
I think there's a lot of memes out there that says that who drives your digital transformation in your company, right? And the answer is not your CTO or CEO, it's your COVID, right? So I think that is really true to a certain extent, right? So it hastened the speed of the adoption of technology, right? So then as a company that is devoted to physical experience, physical spaces, and then physical festival of sort, right? Then I've been thinking, ever since like towards the end of February, right, before the whole thing go crazy and all the announcements start pouring in, then I've been thinking already. I'm like thinking, okay, number one, what is a product that is so lean that I can straight away create right now, and then straight away, transform the team, right? Because my team skill set is definitely events background, right? So I say that, suddenly I want to do a YouTube channel, I have to fire the whole team, man. It's impossible, right? So that means I need to make use of the same skill set, right? And transform, number one. Then number two, it must be a product that is not just a temporary solution that is for this COVID period, because this is like the Hunger Games, right? Because post-COVID, you are talking about the survivors of the fittest, right? So I think then it's our duty then to say that, hey, it must be a solution that also fit a post-COVID kind of situation. We must have that mindset, right? Then thirdly, right, so with the existing technology out there, can we do a minimum viable product? I think that is also in line as well, right? To see that how the existing solutions, right? Because if you want to spend like a 6-figure just to do some crazy ass technology or create some platform, right, it will be insane, because first there's no proof of concept, right? So I think that's my concern. Then last but not least, it must be something that ultimately there's some form of I think income generation, right? Generating of income to a certain extent, right? It must have that potential to do so. Otherwise, it will be quite challenging, because we have a team, and it's not that say that, hey, we can just create a free listing, get everybody come together and then figure out later. So it must be a plan that, hey, we must know what we are doing, a sound plan, at least within the next 12 months, within the next 24 months, what are we supposed to do. So I think that's with that mindset, that is where we thought that, hey, I think Shilling, last year it was ranked number 1, thankfully, with all the supporters and all the warm responses on Google trending events. Then with that kind of media traction and leverage that we have built in 2019, then how can we leverage on this brand and this awareness to then convert the interest to digital? So I think with all the factors and consideration and Shilling in mind, that is where we want to come out with this digital Shilling festival in June. Actually, we're trying to do that in June. So that is our first idea. I think along the way, we are lining it up. But again, really depends on the advisories right now. Yeah.
So let me just interrupt you there, right? We're still talking about the topic of digital transformation, and you mentioned that you're sort of like getting your team to build something or to change their skill set because you want to keep the same team, whilst obviously having to pivot and change the business to suit the environment. We're going through the very same thing. I mean, as you know, I'm also in the events business.
Correct.
Except that we purely do corporate events. And now we're doing YouTubes, we're doing videos, we're writing a lot of content, we're building tribes, we're building communities for ourselves and for our clients. We are teaching our clients how to. So we've been in the business for also about 8 years now, and then we've run more than 2,000 events, right? So our list of HR clients is probably not as big as yours, but close to 10K, just under 10K.
Nice.
So right now what we are doing is we are getting in touch with them one at a time, some by WhatsApp, some via WhatsApp, some using email, and just simply asking them one question, what can we do for you today? I'm not asking you to give me an event, right? I'm asking you to sort of like tell me if you need help. I mean, if you need help with anything, we'll help you. If we need to charge you, we'll tell you. But more often than not, we don't have to. We just sort of want to still be, we don't want to be out of sight, out of mind, right? So I think I agree with what you said. At the end of this day, it's not the survivors that survive, right? It's the survival of the fittest. The fittest that survive. It's not just, not everybody will survive. So with regard to digital transformation, are you saying that, so are you building a product or platform that eventually can be used by other event organizers or by other festival organizers also? So for example, if they wanted to organize a digital festival, and we'll go more into this later on as you talk more about your upcoming event. But this product that you're building, will it allow other event organizers to also do what you're attempting to do, or it's just for yourself?
I think what we're trying to build is really a minimal viable product. So what I did was, I didn't do like crazy ass, like try to develop something deep tech or something. So it's more like a aggregation. So I aggregate certain things. So for example, if I want to do live streaming, right? So what are some of the free solution or cost effective solution out there that we can aggregate, right? Then if I want to do like for example enterprise kind of marketplace, right? So what is the solution out there that I can piece together as well? So I'll piece all these different kind of technology together to aggregate it, right? And if it works, well, it is not exactly like a product per se, but at least it's some form of aggregation. So hopefully I can serve it as an inspiration for other event organizers to try to adopt it into their kind of solution, because each and every organizers out there, even like yourself, right, you have different kind of target audience, different kind of needs, but it could be a similar kind of product or similar kind of angle that you can piece everything together. So hopefully it's good that if it serves as an inspiration, then if there is room for collaboration, I'm more than happy to welcome, because I believe that right now, nothing in the world left to create per se, right? Unless you're some inventor or innovator, right? So I think the best way forward to kind of like create something interesting is through collaboration. So I think that is more important, right? Having the mindset or the kind of like solution that you want to drive to solve for your clients, then technology is one way to serve that need. It's not like, because I know this technology, how can I think of solutions to work around it? So I guess that will be the mindset that I have so far, and then work it along the way. Yeah.
Okay. So just now you also talked about the sort of piecing together different things and different applications that's available online already. So don't reinvent the wheel. I mean, and I fully agree, right? I think what we need to learn how to not just having to develop everything from scratch. I think the skill that's missing in a lot of business owners, right, is the inability to adapt and the inability to integrate, right? Because there's a lot of things that are already, like you said, already built. It's already there. But how do you be an integrator? How do you pull everything together, right? To sort of get to where you want to go, as opposed to just everything also have to build. Then you got so much money, you got so much capital, right? Even if you had, it would make 0 sense to invest that money into whatever you're thinking of building, lah. So what? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're right. You're totally right. So it's not like trying to think of, hey, what if I need to do this, or what if I have 100,000 clients, or what if I have like X amount of problems that I need to solve. There's too many what if out there already. So I guess the easiest way is to create something or find something that serves your needs right now, that is very, very suitable. Then once it grow beyond your needs already, then probably you look for other solution. I think this will be kind of like a just-in-time kind of mentality. So even for my site, to manage my work, Google Drive is our best friend. I think it's everyone's best friend as well. It's the best way to quickly manage it, right? It wouldn't get too complicated. Just by the search function, you can search for any shit already, right? So for example, on Google Drive, then if you want to keep track of your tasks, I think that's slightly more challenging. So right, there's many ways of keeping track of your tasks. I've seen people like WhatsApping themselves in WhatsApp group, for example. Just WhatsApp, right? It's herself or himself just to keep track of the to-do list. Some people use Evernote. Some people just use the notepad on MacBook, right? But for my site, we are using Airtable. So Airtable recommended by my friend. So he was saying that, hey, it is very simple also, right? It's like a more sophisticated Excel of sorts. Then you can actually assign and stuff like that. So I guess it's quite useful at this point of time. It's very, very simple. It managed my current task list. So I think using that is good enough for me, right? Unless you tell me that you got 1,000 lists of things that you need to do, then maybe it's not the technology, it's not the app already. Then it's probably your art of delegation also, right? So I think that's one. And then last but not least, I'm sure everybody is on Zoom right now. So Zoom is definitely maybe a channel where you can house your entire team, right? To keep track and to monitor, or even to like as and when have the breakout sessions. Then I think other than Zoom, I think maybe some people can try to use Google Hangout Meets, right? So not everything must be on Zoom. If you just want to have quick session, can be on Hangouts, or even just a WhatsApp call. As simple as that. Yeah, those are some of the tools that I think are good to start off, a starter kit of sort for work from home. Yeah.
We are quite similar. So we're also a G Suite user. Very expensive. 1 month is like $15 or something USD per person.
Correct.
Multiplied by the number of people, you're like, why am I paying Google $1,000 every month to use email? So you go through that. Then we've explored using Airtable before, but it was a little bit more than what we needed. So right now for project management, we use Asana. Then same. So we have we use Google for everything, same as you. Then for project management, we use Asana. Then for team communication, we use Slack. So one tip that I have for whoever's watching now who's running a business is that I came down very strictly with on my team a few years ago, because they tend to use. So we have a WhatsApp group now. So everything was put in WhatsApp. Talk also put in WhatsApp. What do you want to eat for lunch? Also put in WhatsApp. The client event also put in WhatsApp. Booking a supplier for another different event also put in the same WhatsApp group, right? So everything was there. So initially what I did was I kept stopping them, telling them, don't work stuff, don't put on WhatsApp, put it away. WhatsApp is for personal stuff, personal chat, just for fun, out of work. And at that time we already had Slack, and then so they didn't do it lah. So what I did was I sort of like closed down the WhatsApp chat group completely, so they had no more WhatsApp. I mean, they had created their own group and all that. I'm sure they're doing that.
Correct.
But then if they wanted to talk to me or my wife, and ask us about certain things, and they WhatsApp us, what we do is we just don't reply, just don't reply. So either they call us or they Slack us. So in this way, right, we sort of in a very in as subtle and in as kind manner as possible, right? Sort of push them to say, go to Slack, go to Slack. So I think there are a lot of tools out there, but actually getting your team to use it is the most difficult part, right? Because some of them
the adoption. Correct. Yeah. So I think there's plenty of technology out there. It's really about adoption. It's about like trying to the learning curve is there as well. So it's not just the adoption, right? You have to set the protocols, the processes around those adoption as well. So I think that one is very, very important. So I think we are trying to see if such of this function is important. So thanks for the tip. Maybe I'll go and explore Slack after this. Yeah.
Sure. So also, your team is quite big in terms of the headcount. How do you handle your team discussions? Even with Zoom, you're going to have like 30 people on a Zoom call. How do you manage that?
I think it's important to have that okay a bit like governance kind of thing, right? So you have your steering committee and your working committee. I think that's very important, right? Having a very clear role and scope of work is very, very important right now, because in our line having that teamwork is the most important already. Everything else are really 真的是 secondary, right? Having the communication is very clear. Having the right scope is very important as well. So I think these two is very, very important. Then once you have that team set up for that particular project already, then like Zoom, there's breakout rooms. Otherwise there is like the Google Hangout that you can actually log on and just have a quick word. I think it takes a lot of discipline right now, right? Because working from home is like, sure, I mean, you can stare at them on the monitor all the time, but then what's the point, right? You take away your time and effort and energy to do real work, right? So I think it's a little bit of initiative, a bit of trust, and then a lot on independence, right? To then trust that they are taking initiative, or even set clear goals on a daily basis, weekly basis, or even monthly basis, right? To encourage. Right, so these are all the push factors to say that, hey, okay lah, this week we must clear certain things there. Can we have like organize a team discussion for it? I think so it's really like kind of like encourage them to do so, right? Because you have certain KPIs or certain objectives they need to set already. So I think through that way is really one way to encourage them rather than force them to, hey, discuss this now, that kind of thing. So I think that's not my mentality.
Okay. Well, before we continue with the rest of the questions, I noticed that we have some new viewers coming online. So I just wanted to sort of recap that this guy on my right, as you see in the screen over here, his name is Kent, and he's actually the CEO and founder of Invade. Invade is also the company and the team behind definitely the biggest festival that outdoor festival that you've come across in Singapore, Artbox. They also started Shilin. Kent is probably around my age, mid-late 30s. Also have young kids at home. Runs a much bigger team than I do. So if you're watching this video, if you're still watching this video, we've been going on for about 20 minutes now. And to be honest, this was very spontaneous. Don't just watch, right? So to the viewer out there, just if you've got questions about business, about remote working, about your job, about, if you have a new business idea that you want to explore, whether it has anything to do with events or not, you can just ask. I mean, Kent is a very generous guy. If he knows the answer, he will just share it with you from his point of view. And earlier in this chat, he was saying that he's built this business for 10 years now, and his list of actual transacted clients is what 算是几万, 5 figures. Just whether you're a freelancer, you're an employee, you are a business owner, or you're just thinking of starting something, I strongly encourage you to put your questions in the comments below, and we'll pull your questions up and we'll try and answer them as much as we can. Yeah. So you've shared a lot in the last few minutes, in the last 20 minutes about what you do and the things that you are doing. Why do you do it? What makes you continue doing what you do?
I guess I think it sets the pace already. I mean in 10 years already, right? For yourself also like 8 years already, it kind of like this is what we have known throughout our years. All right. If it's 10 years already, it's like hyper focus already. I think there isn't like a kind of like, sure, there's distraction along the way. It says that, hey, why are you still doing this? Why don't you explore certain other things and stuff like that? I think there's this famous, not say famous, there's this line that I live by, right? So you're deemed crazy until you're successful, right? So I think that's the mindset that I have right now. So with that kind of mindset, then it's like, okay, then we just hyper focus. As long as we are solving problems, providing the solutions for the stakeholders, then we continue to do so. It's just that maybe the products along the way will transform, will change. Then we just need to keep changing because that is business. No, I think no one can tell me, hey, 我做这个生意做10年I'll still be like, earning tons of money, that kind of thing. I mean, maybe in the past, yes, but right now, there's a lot of transformation. The pace is very, very fast, right? So I think I find my drive in a way that yes, I have my like worries or my stress, but then we don't really have time to think about all those, right? It kind of like I wake up, then let's get to work, let's explore that the path, and let's discuss with the team, how to move forward and stuff like that. So I think that's why I continue to do what I'm doing now. Yeah.
Well, we've got one comment from Warren, who's also a friend of mine. Maybe we'll get Warren up on the next session. So he mentioned great topics to discuss. Kudos for riling our sense of adventure in this uncertain business climate. Well, bro, I don't know if adventure is the right word, man, but it sure as hell is a roller coaster ride. Okay. So, pull up one more question that I have prepared for you.
Sure.
What are you working on? What are the other upcoming projects that you're working on?
We currently is definitely about digital Shilling Festival right now that we are doing. So beyond that, we are looking at some of our existing products as well, right? We have our thrift market brand, we have our co-making space. I think all these are really, really physical, right? So I think at this point of time, it's like, does it make sense to go digital? I think that's number one question, right? Where are we going with it, right? Even though we go online. Right, so is it a very, very tight space? I'm sure it is a tight space right now. Everybody's like trying to go online and go digital right now, right? Then last question that I will is like kind of like a practice that I did with Shilling. So the last question I'll ask then, is it something that will be useful or will be complementing for a post-COVID kind of scenario, right? I think I just want to touch a bit more on the future of physical spaces, right? I think COVID has changed the retail landscape forever, right? Because instantly within these 6 to 9 months, right? We are all being forced to go digital transformation, right? Whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, even all the laggers or even all the early adopters, right? So everybody is like being forced to go into the digital space, right? Then it's kind of like, it's not as if like retail scene is doing very well
in the first place.
Anyway, right? I mean, let's be realistic. So with pre-COVID, the retail climate is already so volatile. Plus your COVID right now, then when you flatten the curve, I mean, to where we are standing post-COVID, I think the reliance on physical spaces or retail spaces might not be as it is in the past already. Right, I guess that's the one thing that we must acknowledge, right? So once we acknowledge the fact that the typical brick and mortar might not be feasible already, so then what will it be, right? So I think that is the question that we have been asking and exploring, right? Nobody will have that right answer right now, but then it is a question that we must keep challenging ourselves. So I think that is something that I want to touch on my business and in terms of physical spaces.
What do you think the retail landscape will look like post-COVID? Or my opinion, in terms of the general macroeconomic view, is that so end of last year, and I shared this with Sylvia Tam when I was on her show, that and last year, 2019, was a great year for events. We all know that because we're in the same industry. Fantastic year. But I was a bit gassy at the end of last year. So whilst other corporate event companies were sort of expanding and hiring and and going all out, my wife and I, we were just like, okay, we better sort of like hold on for a bit. So we started investing in an IT team whom we have on our payroll now, end of last year. But not because we knew COVID was going to hit, but because we were sort of very cautiously optimistic that 2020 was not going to be such a good year as compared to 2019. So we should probably be a little bit more careful. So that's kind of what we did. Little did we expect the situation to be so bad, right? And And my fear is that, or my thinking, my thought is that everyone is so, since February in Singapore, everyone's been so distracted by this COVID-19 pandemic that they kind of forgot that we're currently living through a recession already. The recession is already here before COVID hit Singapore shores, in my opinion, just based from news articles and the market performance and all that, right? And now, whilst everyone is still talking about COVID and then work from home and circuit breaker and complaining and bitching about all this stuff, which we hear about every single day, right? On Facebook, on WhatsApp, people sending stuff and complaining and all that. That's why I prefer to focus sort of more on the positive aspect of it, lah. But being cautiously, again, positive or cautiously optimistic, I think that we need to be prepared not only for a post-COVID market, but I think we need to be prepared for a post-COVID recession, which makes it even more difficult, right? So let's say COVID is so let's say there is a cure for COVID, or a vaccine for COVID, right? Then there's no more circuit breaker, there's no more work from home, everyone goes back to work or goes back to their office as normal. Yeah. But then what do you think is going to happen, for retail in general and for your business?
Yeah, I think you're right. So it wouldn't get better. In fact, the whole impact will hit when it's actually post-COVID. You're right, totally. So people were like, yeah, right now we are like kind of like it's like kind of like we are taking a lie detector right now. As in, yes, there's a lot of these stimulus budget resources to help out, but that it's like they make it just nice, right? Because we are not a welfare state, right? So it's like just nice. Make sure you don't die right now. But okay, certain things can defer, you defer. Certain things that can push back, you push back. But then, hey, you can push back all these things, but then it's not just all these things that you're pushing back, right? And with the pairing of recession, or like macam like wine like that, like if the pairing of the recession, I think yes, you're right that I don't know what's left. I don't know what's left, but it's like kind of like a unreasonable world that we'll be in. If you ask me, it will be unreasonable. Totally like nothing that you are expecting will come out. It's like there's a lot of very, very drastic move, right? The winners, they have huge amount of reserve through the whole COVID period and then the recession. I'm sure there's some winners. It's a zero-sum game, basically, right? So the winners will then, you really have to see, they will probably set some trends moving forward, I guess. Then for the middle classes, or for the our retailers and our tenants that have the physical need for the spaces, right? Just now we're on this topic. I think it is then very, very important to really have multiple function to the space that you are going to take up. It doesn't serve one single need already. At least, right? Through that whole digital transformation, what have you learned or what have you adopted? Right? Does it make sense to have that physical space again? If it does, what would it be or what could it be? Right? I think before COVID, there's a lot of articles that say that, hey, certain co-working spaces pop up at shopping malls already, right? I think you saw the news. It's like everywhere. They take 30,000, 60,000 square feet of spaces. Does that mean that the office rent rate and the retail rent rate is starting to converge, in the sense that it basically means the same? So if it means the same, that means all office space is retail space and all retail space is office space, right? So that means it's like there's a huge supply of spaces out there that I think for landlords, they have to be very receptive to certain changes of the use of the space. You don't call it a shopping mall anymore. It is a mall, but it must serve different kind of needs already. I think while I'm not a guru or a shaman that can predict the future, but at least these are some of the trends that I think we can observe. Then it's really, at this point of time, try to figure a way out to see how then you can transform. We really must have that mindset and agility to transform already, right? Because the trends don't wait for anyone. Yeah.
So on the note, how we've obviously been extended for one more month, right? Yeah.
Correct. Oh, there's a lot of vulgarities coming out, right? TCB lah, TCB lah, right? So I guess I guess the word here is necessary. It is necessary, right? There is basically no amount of risk you should take to say that,
Mm.
okay, maybe it's not necessary anymore, right? A circuit breaker ends, life goes back to normal. I don't think so, right? The extended period is definitely necessary. Even the post extended period, right? I think what the ministry will probably do is slowly lift up certain regulation only. I don't think life will go back to normal instantly. There will be a new normal that waiting for us in 6 months down the road or 9 months down the road. So I guess that's what I feel about the extended period. I think it definitely makes businesses a lot harder, right? Basically, it's like, hey, you cleared the 1 star difficulty, right? Okay, now it's a 2 star. Instantly doubled the challenge. Right? It's not like a gradual kind of steps you take to develop your business or face all our challenges. Maybe more headcount, that means you need more revenue. No such thing anymore. All these things doesn't work anymore. All these theories doesn't come in handy anymore. Right? It's just simply like, okay, you think this is difficult, right? Like, how about
Wait till
just
you try this.
twice? Yeah, wait till you try this, because the
Yeah.
property tax, not that they say that, hey, okay, there's another 1 month worth of property tax rebate, right? From the ministries to the landlord, for example, right? So all these things is not even set in place, like. So there's a lot of things that we are dragging through. So I think that's what I feel about the extended period.
My opinion about this entire period, like this entire COVID, CEB, extended period kind of thing is of course two ways. I think one of the way is one view, one opinion of mine is it's being said by everybody already, like very negative, right? I'm sian, especially we have kids at home now. Kids are still so young, we can't even work. And we gotta get onto this call, like 10:30 p.m. at night, so nobody disturbs us. And even that is not guaranteed, right? So if they have a nightmare humping or what, then they'll just wake up, then we'll be like, okay, we'll cut this short, we gotta go. Then so this is frustrating, of course. And then not being able to do the things that we used to do is frustrating. I think from a living day-to-day kind of angle, that frustrates me and my family also. On the other hand, from a business perspective, I mean, last year the entire team was complaining like, wow, very shag. Every day got event, every weekend, then got family day, then weekday got team building, then nighttime got D&D. Well, now you don't have any events. Happy now? So obviously that scares us. I mean, it would be so easy for you to just run another shilling, like physical shilling or another physical Artbox. Just do it only, like for you, easier. Right? But now you have to push yourself further and think, and like you said earlier, new trends will develop, and the trendsetter, the pacer, will be the ones who will sort of dominate the industry. That's what I feel. You also said earlier that you think this period is sort of like a bit of a lie detector test. My analogy of this period, right, this entire period, it is like it's like life. Somebody hit the pause button on life, the pause button on business, at least, or not on life, the pause button on business. And the way I see it is this, in a more positive way. The way I see this is, I think we are now given an opportunity to take some time, not a lot, but some time that we never had in the past 10 years, right? To relook at our business and redesign it. I think this pause button that is hit on business now in general around the world is a good thing for everybody. I think I'm actually quite excited about this. So every morning when I wake up, I go to Google News, then I search for COVID vaccine, just to see if a vaccine is out, because that is a true unpause button, right? The moment a vaccine is readily available to everybody, then life goes on, right? Goes back to normal. That is only normal, right? When everybody has been vaccinated, right? So every morning I wake up, and left side, right side of me, one side right says, I hope that there's a vaccine. The vaccine come out, then at least we can get back to normal, get back to running our family day, our dinner and dance, our team building, and for you running your festivals and all that. Then we can collaborate on actual physical offline events, and then life gets back to normal, easy for us because we've been doing it, both of us, for so many years. So on one hand, I want a vaccine to be found, but on the other hand, right, I keep saying, well, if the vaccine was found tomorrow morning, right, and we haven't created this new business for ourselves, then all this time has gone to waste, right? Right? You spend so much time, so much effort trying to build. You call it a pivot, but it's not really a pivot, right? It's sort of like building another pillar in your business so that you're not so dependent on the main and only pillar, which is just, let's say, either running festivals or managing physical spaces. So both are physical, still at risk, very high risk. Same for us. We only run physical corporate events. We don't even do conferences. So now it's like, how do I do a virtual D&D, virtual team building, virtual family day? So we are also developing these things, and I'll share our ideas in the future video. But my point is, I think we are actually given a chance as business owners to relook at what we do. And while everything is closed, nothing is moving, the government is giving us enough through, let's say, the JSS rebates and all that, right, to just keep us going for now, 75%, a little minus 50%, then 25 more, but it's sort of keeps us going, like you said, right? The worst case scenario, 25%, it pays our staff CPF lah, for us. So at least the staff get the benefit also lah. So I think that this period, right, if we don't come up with something truly different and truly amazing for our own business, we would have wasted this time. I think also as so, in the festival scene, you are considered the biggest player, probably the biggest player in Singapore, at least in Singapore. In the rest of Southeast Asia, of course, there are other bigger players, right? But if you look at it from what I said earlier, having this pause button, don't you think it is really cool now that as a small player in the regional sense, now your biggest competitor regionally is also hit by the same problem, right? He's hit by a bigger problem because his company is bigger, right? So technically, right, whilst initially he was super high, far away from you, right, and you were just here. Right? Now everybody is on a level playing field because there's no more events. You cannot do event anymore. So now everybody is reset. It doesn't matter if they have more money or more cash in the bank, more reserves, because their team would be bigger than yours. So their burn will be their burn rate at least will be similar, if not worse than yours, right?
Worse, yeah.
We're now all brought to the same level, right? And now you get a chance to become the dominant player in the entire Southeast Asia, not just in Singapore already, right? Whereas before COVID, you would have never thought, the only way for you to compete was, I need to run bigger event. I need to open in Thailand. I need to open in KL. I need to open in PJ. I need to open in Penang, all these places, all physical, same thing, copy and paste, right? But now, because no more physical events, we're all put on the same plane. No matter what your biggest competitor had last year and the year before that, completely irrelevant already, other than the mindset and experience. So that sort of makes me kind of excited, because we're not the biggest corporate events company in Singapore. We're probably the biggest family day organizer in Singapore, but certainly not corporate event in general, right? Whilst everybody in the corporate events business in Singapore have now started to find their own ways, some of them are doing offering disinfectant services. So last year, family day. This year, offering disinfectant, right? Office cleaning, disinfectant. Right. Then there are others that, of course, they go into virtual events. So last year was doing corporate events, but this year suddenly they do conferences also. They do town halls. So suddenly you do a lot of all these things, right? Because these are the easiest ones to go online. But those are always the easy way out, because you're still going into a scene where everybody is already there. They're not sort of recreating, right, the scene. So I think what you're doing is really good, and I think you should continue to push on. But of course, as business owners, we're always worried about our business. And I'm sure the answer to this question is you are worried about your business, but sort of what, again, repeating the question of, so what keeps you going, right? Like so you're worried, but why don't you just stop? Why do you still go?
I think we are in this situation for I think, like what you say, totally agree, man. Like it gives us the opportunity to then pause and then re-strategize and then think of ways to then try to create new products or transform and then stay relevant. I think it kind of level the playing field. You're right, totally. So we heard horror stories from our bigger competitors, right? There's a lot of horror stories out there, right? It's really the time whereby, sure, right? The bigger boys are bringing down to our level, for example. But then it also means the same thing on the other side, right? All the smaller boys also now have the opportunity to try to say, they get to do this, they get to do that, right? A simple but yet human idea, relatable idea that is during this whole COVID period might spark a phenomenal trend. Who knows also, right? So this is the opportunity for them to come on board as well. So I guess you're right. And then but yet also it creates an opportunity for our smaller boys to come up as well lah. So I definitely worried about it. And then like what I say lor, really don't have time more. Like not as if you have all the time to keep thinking about it, right? So it keeps you going, right? As long as the team is very, very supportive, your team is very, very supportive, I'm sure, right? To keep supporting the direction and everything. I would say that you are right also in this time and age, nobody can tell you whether are you doing right or wrong. Because first time ever first time ever is like a pandemic. First time ever plus recession some more, right? The good pairing coming together and stuff like that. Nobody is here to tell you whether are you doing the right thing or the wrong thing already. Only 10 years down the road, then you look back and say, hey, wow, wrong. But then it's all too late, right? So I guess that is the exciting part that I think I can feel you also. It's exciting that it's like it's novelty. There's first mover. There isn't exactly a benchmark that says that this is the right way to do during COVID period, right? So I guess you're totally right in that sense that it sets whoever like kind of like maybe some people take a longer path, some people take a shorter path, but ultimately if you continue to stay true, I think down the road people will say that hey, wow, this person correct there, but then you won't know. Like you won't know, I won't know, like something. But eventually we'll find out. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so I wanna also talk about this new idea that you have, which is called Digital Shilin, right? So I created a promo video for this Facebook Live earlier this evening. After I got off the call with you, then I was like really damn excited. So I decided to record a video. And the reason why I was so excited is because it's really very hard. So we've covered a lot in the last half an hour almost 1 hour now of sharing. And I think one thing that you've mentioned is how do you sort of use whatever is out there already, integrate it all into a usable platform that is applicable, that is engaging, that can actually work. Like you've been organizing festivals for 10 years or for almost 10 years already, right? So you know that it's the engagement is the important part, right? You need to really be very engaged, because if you don't engage the visitors or your if your vendors or you don't engage with your visitors, vice versa, or your entertainers or your performers, obviously you're going to get very negative reviews about the end. Being in this scene, I'm sure you've had your fair share of negative reviews in the last 10 years, right? So how, I mean, what's the idea? What's the idea?
I guess it's really back to the be human about it, right? I guess it's really like during this whole period plus extended period, right? I think a lot of us are like dying to feel normal again, right? We are dying to like to sit down in Starbucks, get a cup of Starbucks, and then relax our mind, stuff like that. We are dying to do so, right? But we can't do it now. So there are a lot of people that is like having that kind of like maybe like I wouldn't say a cabin fever but then they are like had enough of staying at home kind of thing. So I'm just trying to say that hey, if I am like staying at home, which I am, which everybody is right now, and it's like what else can we do, right? Sure we can go, we can like work out, we can like do work, we can like watch Netflix all day, but then what else, So I'm just trying to say that hey, maybe let's do something interesting let's try to engage like hey, what would I want to see during this period, for example, maybe just like the Chinese saying 苦中作乐, So I just want to have a bit of like fun entertainment. I know it's tough. I know all the frontliners are like working their ass through, try to make it happen, try to contain COVID and everything, right? I'm very, very thankful for it. So it's just like, how about the rest of us, right? Continue to do work, yes. Continue to stay with your families, stay, try to enrich yourself. But maybe in the meantime, it could be a way that can engage, like maybe in the same household, of course, like with your family, and say that hey, can we watch something interesting other than just Netflix, right? So I think that's what we are trying to aim for, or trying to create an objective for. So having a digital shilling, we will have like a main show of like different kind of like live streaming, pre-recorded content, for example, to kind of like, throughout the whole 6 days, right? We pick the elements of a festival, right? It's a 6 days festival last year, so we pick it online. So it's going to be a 6 day festival during June. It's just 6 days from 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. So we have like different kind of content and shows and then live streaming to keep it entertainer. But then with the mindset that, hey, we are not just like, hey, are we competing with like some of the TV show or some of the kind of music festival? No, it is really the idea of like a retailtainment of sorts, right? It's still back to how then we can make use of this platform, this traction, this value that we generated to help our micro businesses, our retailers, our F&B brands, right? So that's all we have. We like hyper focus as that our audience is always the same. Our retailers, our F&B guys out there, right? With this whole situation worsening day by day, right? There's just not enough channel to create or to kind of like reach out to shoppers, for example. So we hope that through live shopping, through live streaming, that is one way that we can actually have this platform to upskill them, to reach out to potential visitors and customers, right? Sure, there's a lot of online giant marketplaces out there, right? This is an alternative. That's what I'm trying to say. And I don't know whether is it like very, very, very useful or does it bring huge amount of traffic? But I know that that is what that I think we can best use for aggregate all the resources that we have to create this digital shilling right now. Yeah.
Okay. How will it actually work for the merchants or vendors? Like how is it like an e-commerce shop with a live stream camera going on as they cook, and then I don't know, like how will it work for F&B and non-F&B merchants? Like why would a merchant want to join?
Correct. So we already saw the news leak and everything, right? So the media have picked up already, right? We kind of like aggregate the content together already at this point in time. We already know what we want to do, right? So then comes to our vendors. So each and every one of them will have a digital booth inside this shilling.sg. So with a digital booth, it's likewise, they can actually decorate their their banner, their food menu, have a 30-second short clip about themselves. Right, so really think of all these ideas that mish and mash, right? And so because what we're trying to sell here is like the experience to do so, right? So it's a sense of discovery right now. It's not as if you're saying that you're some famous luxury brand that everybody will just go to whatever you say so, right? You're really trying to let people have the chance to discover and explore, right? So I guess that's the idea that we have in mind. So we were going to have like say 300, 400, 500 vendors out there, both local and regional one. Of course, the regional one with a smaller percentage, about 20%, capped at 20%. We are still hyper focused on creating this brand for our homegrown businesses, our local businesses who are, like facing the challenges every day, right? So with this mindset, then, they can create all these kind of like banner videos and everything. So yes, beyond just the whole traction and the marketing platform, there's also a fulfillment platform. So it's not just you can browse and look at your favorite brands. You can actually add to cart and check out, and then we have a last mile fulfillment partner to fulfill the order for you also.
Nice.
So it's really a one-stop kind of angle for all our vendors, right? So because a lot of them right now they are like fighting fire hey, well, I give you a platform, then you sell. They were like lame shit lah, like the whole world is doing that for me, right? So what else, right? So of course we want to do the full suite for them. Right, we want to say that, hey, it's not just a marketing platform, it's just not listing for you only. We want to fulfill the order, we want to help you sell, we want to help you generate some form of income during this period. I think that's the most important thing, I guess, right now for them. So I think that's the mindset, and that's how we want to make it work for our merchants or vendors.
So like if there was, can you give me one example, right, of your perfect merchant, F&B merchant, and one example of your perfect non-F&B merchant?
So in an ideal world, right? So for example, you know what? Like for example, if even if our physical festival, I would say the top selling one, they probably can generate 1,000 orders in the 8 hours, right? So 1,000 orders, say for example, each order is $10. You can calculate the amount of revenue they can generate already. So then we downplay because in terms of like last mile fulfillment, in terms of delivery, in terms of churning orders, probably if they can generate like say 50 orders per hour, that's fair lah. Means like about 1 minute, one order ma, right? It's already very it's
Wow.
very, very good already, right? It's very strong already. So in the ideal world, that's the best scenario we want to have for our F&B guys. So you're looking at about 400 orders per day, right? As much as the last month fulfillment partner can fulfill lah. So in the ideal world, that's the best case scenario we can create for them. So depending on if one order takes like $10, $20, right? So you do the math. So 2,400 orders, right? If it's $10, 24,000, right? If it's $20, that's double, right? So hopefully that's the kind of income that we hope that during this short period of time we can create for them. It's not that wow, if it's so successful, let's do it every day, you know, that kind of thing. Unfortunately, no lah, right? So it's very time sensitive. It's really like try to gather the amount of traction within that short period of time for all of them, right? It's not easy, but that is at least the potential is there. At least what I'm trying to tell you that it is possible, but I don't know how effective, but I know we are doing whatever necessary to make it happen.
Yeah, well, anything is better than just sitting at home now doing nothing lah, you know, especially if let's say, I mean, like, look, Singapore, they on Facebook, there's a few groups, like the hawker groups and then the restaurant groups, right? I'm sure you're in these groups as I am as well.
Yeah.
And whilst we try and support them, no matter how good their post is, you know, over, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, they probably get like 50 comments or 100 comments in 2 weeks. You know, and then comments doesn't equal to orders, then does that really help their business? You know, I don't know lah. I hope it does. But I think what you're creating is a sense, it's very classic affiliate marketing, very classic online marketing, right? It's creating a sense of urgency, a sense of sort of a scarcity, right? So the shop is only here for 6 days. If you want to order, you've got to order now. It's not just about the price. It's about maybe this 6 days. This F&B shop has a different menu only for this 6 days. Right. It's out of their normal menu. It's only these 6 days. If you want this, it's here only here for this 6 days. You got to order today, and every day maybe a different menu, stuff like that lah. I think it's pretty cool, right? Because then it forces the F&B guys to also think. Because I mean, think about it, right? If let's say you run digital selling once a year, for example, if a merchant joins the platform and they sort of listen to your guidance and put a little bit of trust in your gut feeling, right? And then they start to create this sense of urgency, sense of scarcity when things go back to normal, i.e. when they can open their shop again, then theoretically that should also generate them more traffic, right? Like, for example, my house downstairs, the coffee shop, let's say he sell for the last 20 years already, is 烧鸭饭 and 烧肉 and 叉烧, right? Every day, same thing. So if you don't feel like eating 烧鸭饭, right, then you wouldn't go there lah. And I would go maybe like go and tapa once a week, maybe nowadays maybe once every 2 weeks, right? But if he told me that every day there's a daily special, then every day I will go down already, ma, because that special is only for that day, ma. Right? It's different for the day, right? So I think a lot of these hawkers, especially also lah. Well, firstly, I think most hawkers probably don't participate in a festival lah. It's kind of weird lah. Other than so I don't consider the Pasar Malam, the Tanzua as a hawker lah, right? Hawker means hawker. But I think what you've created, or what you've created in digital selling, right, is also an opportunity for people who never thought that they would join a festival, then now suddenly join a digital festival. You know, like this guy making muazi there, then can do, right? But he don't know how to do, ma. So he don't know how to do. Now, not only do you tell him how to do and what to do, he can get the sales. I mean, assuming that everything works out, obviously no guarantee, but if everything works out, you know, he takes some risks, you take some risks, he learns a new technique / tactic, right? For when after the 6 days is over, he goes back to his shop and he applies it to his physical shop. Then it's like free training, right? I mean, now I'm attending a webinar every single night, right? For at 8 p.m. because it's all free, ma. So all your Facebook ads keep popping up and go webinar. And I'm attending webinar to webinar just to see and learn some new ideas for myself also. Correct. You know, every course that you want to sign up is what, $4,000, $5,000 to join a course to learn something that you probably won't implement. You know? So that's why when I learned about your digital selling idea, I thought this is really very cool, because you're not only just opening a platform for them to list, what you actually have to do in order to make it a successful venture is to handhold them all the way. I mean, not every single one of them, right? But at least make it digital, a digital video, a digital tutorial, how best to get started, and then maybe even maybe you can give some jobs to freelancers in Singapore also. So you talk about signboard design and all that, right? Menu design, digital design. There's a lot of digital art that needs to be done. There's a lot of videos that need to be. It can be shot. So let's say now I can just put my phone here and record a video of myself, right? But I don't know how to post promo. I don't know how to do the edit, right? Maybe you could also open a marketplace for freelancers, right? Like freelancers, and then get them to sort of sign up with you one way or another, and any of the merchants or vendors who join you, they cannot go to their normal contractor who do their signboard for the last year's festival anymore, because those guys just don't do it. I mean, like you go to a contractor to do a video trailer, 30 seconds, right? You're actually creating a different type of job. Last year, you give a lot of job to Tentage generator all the Saikang kind of company, the Chokang, Chokang company. But this year, right, if digital selling actually works for you, there'll be a lot of people who don't know how to do what you're asking them to do. And now, I think you still remain as an enabler. From what I see, you're now, instead of giving jobs to the Chokang guys, you're giving jobs to the digital Chokang guys, right? The video editor, maybe let's say CB still on, for example, for some weird reason, it's still on until May and June now, right? Then until the end of June, right? Let's say it's on, then got problem. So everything digital, just create a platform online, you sell online, you get a merchant on board. Merchant says, I don't know how to do this. I mean, like, what do you mean by 768 by 200 pixels? 你在讲什么? You understand? Then don't understand, never mind. We have a pool of freelancers, right? You can just send to them, and then anyone who's interested in taking up your job, right, they'll just contact you directly. So now you create jobs for freelancers also to do very simple things, right? Like this beautiful logo that your guys have designed for 士林夜市. Like these things. So quite interesting. I see that you're not just creating a new platform. I see that you're actually creating a new ecosystem. You're creating a completely new, because event organizers were really middlemen with the idea and the ability to execute and integrate, right? We got idea, then people trust us to execute, then they pay us, we make the margin in between, and that's it, right? But we still create jobs for a lot of people. We create jobs for entertainers, for MCs, for magicians, for all these people. But now you're still creating jobs. You're just creating different types of jobs for different people. And that's why I go back to saying, if only more Singaporeans have the idea of actually going remote or working from home or working remote, right? Rather than saying, I need to look for, I want to do web design. Then like web design, you must always find Singapore customer, man. No need, you can go online and find, right? But you just don't know how to brand yourself properly online. You don't know how to present yourself. You don't have a proper LinkedIn profile. So like, I want to guys you also very hard, because nobody know who you are, online. So that's the message that I'm actually trying to prove, lah. But we've sort of come to the end of this session, because I need to go and top up my beer now. In my coffee. By the way, I got a kegerator at home. I brought a keg home. So you wanna say one to your place after we take this offline. Remember the mower beer that we drank at Chimes?
Correct.
So I got one. I got a keg of mower back home. It's my kitchen.
Wow, sure. Okay.
We take this all like so. So I want to know, you mentioned in June, have you already put a date for the 6 days? If you have, can you share with us? If not, where can anybody go to find more information?
Sure. So it is cast in stone. So it will be 12, 13, 14 of June plus 19, 20, 21. So it's 567over the 2 weekends, right? So that one is in June. So for more details, is definitely shilling.sg. So on SG, they can find a general info like what you're doing now. So all these things, there are like certain brief information about it. So if you want to find out more about it, then there's a join us button you can click. And there's also follow us on Instagram kind of idea. So all these things can be found online. It's quite accessible right now. So from there, that is how we will like pick your interest. We will curate, we will guide you step by step, right? It's not just like, do you really need to be Taiwanese? Not really. It's very Asian flavor, Asian creative kind of direction. Shilling belongs to everyone. I guess that's the message that I want to portray, right? So as long as it's like loosely defined Asian creative, Asian flavors, welcome to
Mm-hmm.
join us. Because right now we are just trying to, like what you say, right, have to enable as many businesses as possible in the ecosystem, right? Even our main show, main stage, we have all these gig economies, right? For the gig economy, right? Freelancers, all the performances. Right now, it's really every night you can just do your own live streaming, but then
Yeah.
just within your own followers, within your own group, right? Then through this main stage, that is where you have the opportunity to reach out to more people, right?
Mm.
It's also there's also some form of engagement, right? We'll definitely engage all these artists to come in and join us on Shiling main show as well. So there's
Mm-hmm.
really a different kind of like you say conversation that was sparked because of this festival. There is also regional vendors, like say finally for the first time I can say that hey, I can live stream from Taiwan. You cannot tell me that
Mm-hmm.
hey, Taiwan, why I need to look watch your Shilling Singapore. I need to go to your Shilling festival. Right now they can't say that already. So really we can like say maybe live stream some of the baskers, some of the online shop from Taiwan, for example. Right, it's really like cross pollination of ideas. You can say that hey, you think that you're doing well, you think you're doing good. Maybe you can look at some form of inspiration in Malaysia, in Hong Kong, in Taiwan, in China, for example. They're doing a lot better or more sophisticated. Who knows?
Mm.
We don't, right? So these are some of the, like what you say, an ecosystem that we are trying to create, and then hopefully get to spark off, get to branch out to different kind of ideas out there. And I'm more than happy to see where this will lead to and develop to. Yeah.
Mm. Okay. Cool. Well, I just looked from the stream. We've been chatting for like 1 hour and 20 minutes already. So don't know, like, every time we talk, then we cannot stop. But thanks so much
Yeah.
for being online with me, bro. Thanks for
Thank
sharing
you.
all
Thank you
this.
for the opportunity. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
thanks for sharing all
much.
these ideas also. Once again, I've been chatting with Kent Teo, the CEO and founder of Invade, the guys behind Shilin, the guys behind Artbox, and I would really strongly encourage you to go to shilin.sg, go check out their site. It's coming this June. Sign up to the mailing list, go to the Instagram, and of course, their Facebook page as well to find out more information. If you have any more questions pertaining to events, pertaining to business, pertaining to remote work and all that in general, we got to go offline now because obviously we've been chatting for too long. But just leave your questions in the comments, and my team will curate it. And if we can answer, we'll answer it for you. If you have a question for Kent, just put it in a comment below wherever you are watching this from, whether it's from my profile, from LinkedIn, YouTube, or our Facebook group at Get Out Academy. Just put the comments there. We'll also share a copy of this video in our private Facebook group called Work is Dead. So if you go to www.workisdead.com, you'll be able to find this group that we've started. The purpose of the Work is Dead group is to encourage more Singaporeans to think global, to go global, to be more remote, to look for more opportunities outside of Singapore, right? So stay within the confines of Singapore, stay in Singapore, continue to be here in our country, but open your mind and sort of look elsewhere for jobs, right? Upskill yourself, learn from home, and earn from home. We're giving all sorts of courses. I'm recording these courses together with my team for free. We're not selling you anything. We're literally just trying to build a community in the Work is Dead group. We also have a private Telegram channel that we started just last week, and every morning we are sharing. We share at least 8 to 10 remote working or work from home job opportunities in our Telegram channel. These links go direct to the website or to the company that's hiring. We are not, an employment agency and all that. Again, this is not what we're doing. We're not doing this for money. We're really doing this to change what we can. So I like to say that I don't believe that I'm big enough to change the world, but I believe that I'm big enough to change my world. So this is my way of changing my world. I think that we've been silent too long. I think we need to sort of, if you believe in something, you should just say it, open your mouth and just scream it out as loud as possible. And I'm doing that in our private group. So I've also added Kent to our group. So if you want to chat with him, you can just add him, find him in our Work is Dead group, and then add him from there as well. All right, so that's all we have for you tonight. Thanks so much, guys, for staying with us and for putting in all the comments. I don't see many questions tonight, but because maybe our viewers Kent tonight are all very smart, or they're a bit too intrigued already by what you're sharing. But I'm sure in the next video we're going to have a lot more questions, a lot more viewers as well. So let's until the next one. I hope you all keep safe, stay home, and we'll see you in the Work Estate group. Thanks so much, guys, and thanks, bro.
Thank you. Good night.
All right. Bye.
Bye.